The studio lights blazed down on the set of The View, where the co-hosts were seated in their familiar semicircle, ready for another day of lively discussion. Joy Behar, with her signature sharp wit and no-nonsense demeanor, adjusted her glasses as the audience applauded the entrance of the day's special guest, the legendary Dolly Parton. Dolly, dressed in a sparkling sequined outfit that caught every beam of light, waved enthusiastically, her blonde curls bouncing with each step. The crowd erupted in cheers, chanting her name as she took her seat next to Joy. Whoopi Goldberg introduced her with glowing praise, highlighting Dolly's decades-long career in music, her philanthropy, and her recent ventures into books and films. As the conversation began, it started innocently enough, with questions about Dolly's latest album and her thoughts on the current state of country music. But Joy, ever the provocateur, steered the talk toward politics, knowing Dolly had historically shied away from partisan debates. "Dolly, you've always been about unity and love," Joy said with a sly smile. "But in today's divided America, don't you think celebrities like you have a responsibility to call out certain politicians?" Dolly paused, her warm smile never fading, but her eyes twinkled with a hint of mischief. She responded gracefully, "Well, honey, I believe in treating everyone with kindness, no matter their views. I've got fans on both sides of the aisle, and I aim to keep it that way." The audience murmured in agreement, but Joy pressed on, her tone sharpening. "Come on, Dolly, that's a cop-out. With all your influence, staying neutral is like endorsing the status quo." Dolly chuckled softly, leaning back in her chair. "Joy, darling, I've been in this business longer than some folks have been alive. I know a thing or two about speaking my mind without alienating half the country." The exchange was heating up, and the other hosts exchanged glances, sensing the tension building. Sunny Hostin tried to interject with a lighter question, but Joy waved her off, determined to push further. "Neutrality in the face of injustice is complicity," Joy declared, quoting a famous line, her voice rising. Dolly, unfazed, replied, "And assuming everyone who disagrees with you is unjust is just plain arrogance." The audience gasped, a mix of shock and delight rippling through the crowd. Joy's face flushed, her usual composure cracking as she retorted, "Arrogance? From the queen of rhinestones and wigs?" Dolly's laugh was genuine and infectious. "Oh, sweetie, these rhinestones have more sparkle than your arguments." The back and forth escalated, with Joy accusing Dolly of being out of touch with real-world issues, while Dolly countered with stories from her humble beginnings in the Smoky Mountains, emphasizing hard work and empathy over divisive rhetoric. The segment, meant to be light-hearted, had turned into a verbal sparring match, with Dolly's southern charm disarming Joy's barbs at every turn. As commercials approached, Whoopi attempted to wrap up, but Joy, visibly frustrated, slammed her notes on the table. "You know what? If this is the kind of guest we're having now, maybe I need a break." The audience held their breath, unsure if it was part of the act. But Dolly, ever the class act, extended an olive branch. "Joy, let's not let a little disagreement ruin the fun. We're all here to share perspectives." Yet Joy stood up abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. "No, I'm done with this humiliation." She stormed off the set, leaving the panel in stunned silence. The camera panned to Dolly, who looked surprised but composed, mouthing "bless her heart" as the show cut to break. Whispers filled the studio, and social media exploded with clips of the moment, fans debating whether it was scripted or genuine. Back from commercial, Whoopi addressed the elephant in the room. "Well, folks, Joy had to step away for a moment. Let's continue with our wonderful guest." Dolly seamlessly picked up, sharing anecdotes that had the audience laughing and applauding. But the damage was done. Rumors swirled that this could be the end for Joy on The View. Analysts speculated that the argument highlighted deeper tensions among the hosts, with Dolly's unflappable poise exposing Joy's vulnerabilities. In interviews later, Dolly downplayed the incident, saying, "We all have our moments. I hope Joy's okay." Meanwhile, Joy's representatives issued a statement claiming it was a planned exit for dramatic effect, but insiders leaked that it was indeed a spontaneous quit. The episode became one of the most watched in the show's history, boosting ratings and sparking endless online discussions. Dolly's popularity soared even higher, proving once again why she's an icon. As the credits rolled, the lingering question remained, would Joy return, or had Dolly's words truly driven her away? In the aftermath of Joy Behar's dramatic exit from the View set, The production team scrambled, behind the scenes to manage the fallout. Producers huddled in the control room, reviewing footage of the heated exchange between Joy and Dolly Parton, debating how to spin the narrative for the remainder of the episode. Dolly, still seated on the couch with the remaining hosts, sipped her water calmly, chatting off camera with Whoopi about old Hollywood stories to lighten the mood. The audience, buzzing with excitement, whispered among themselves, phones out recording every second despite the no-filming policy. When the show resumed, Sarah Haynes tentatively asked Dolly about her approach to handling criticism, to which Dolly replied with her trademark wisdom, "I've faced tougher crowds than this, darlin'. Life's too short to hold grudges." The conversation shifted to Dolly's charitable work, particularly her imagination library, which provides books to children worldwide, a topic that drew unanimous praise from the panel. Yet, the elephant in the room, Joy's absence, loomed large. Viewers at home flooded social media with hashtags like #Dolly versus Joy and #Joy quits the view, sharing memes of Dolly's sassy comebacks overlaid on Joy's flustered expressions. Commentators on other networks weighed in, some siding with Joy's bold questioning, others applauding Dolly's graceful deflection. Backstage, Joy paced in her dressing room, her phone ringing off the hook with calls from friends, family, and even ABC executives urging her to return. "That woman humiliated me in front of millions," she reportedly vented to a producer. But Dolly's words had struck a chord, challenging Joy's confrontational style that had defined her career. As the segment continued, Alyssa Farah Griffin praised Dolly's resilience, prompting Dolly to share a story from her early days in Nashville, where she faced rejection but persevered with positivity. The audience ate it up, giving Dolly a standing ovation that lasted through the next commercial break. Online, fan theories abounded. Was this a publicity stunt to promote Dolly's new project, or a genuine clash of personalities? Clips went viral, amassing millions of views within hours, with influencers recreating the argument in skits. Joy, watching from her room, felt a mix of anger and regret. She had always prided herself on being the tough one, but Dolly's unyielding kindness had turned the tables. Eventually, a mediator was sent to coax Joy back, but she refused, insisting on time to cool off. The show wrapped without her, Whoopi closing "Why? We hope to see Joy back soon. Thanks to Dolly for an unforgettable show." Post-episode, Dolly was swarmed by fans outside the studio, signing autographs and posing for photos, her demeanor as sunny as ever. In a quick interview with paparazzi, she said, "I didn't mean to ruffle any feathers. Joy's a firecracker, and I respect that." Meanwhile, Joy's decision to quit sparked contract negotiations and speculation about her future. Tabloids ran headlines like, "Dolly's deadly charm ends Joy's reign," exaggerating the drama. Experts analyzed the body language, Joy's crossed arms versus Dolly's open posture. The incident highlighted generational differences in discourse, with Dolly representing traditional Southern politeness and Joy embodying modern directness. As night fell, Joy reflected at home, perhaps realizing that humility could be a powerful tool. The next day's ratings shattered records, proving controversy sells. Dolly, back in Tennessee, chuckled over the frenzy, focusing on her music. This event would be remembered as a pivotal moment in daytime TV history, where a country queen unwittingly dethroned a talk show titan. Days after the explosive episode of The View where Dolly Parton seemingly prompted Joy Behar's live quit, the media frenzy showed no signs of slowing. Morning shows dissected every word of the argument, with panels debating if Dolly's responses were calculated takedowns or innocent retorts. Clips circulated on platforms like TikTok and Instagram, edited with dramatic music and slow-motion effects to emphasize Joy's storm-off. Dolly, ever the professional, issued a public statement via her social media, sending love to Joy and the whole View team. Disagreements happen, but kindness always wins. Fans rallied around her, flooding her pages with supportive comments, while Joy's supporters accused Dolly of passive aggressiveness. Behind closed doors, ABC executives held emergency meetings to address the vacancy, considering temporary fill-ins like former hosts or celebrity guests. Joy, holed up in her New York apartment, avoided the spotlight, but sources close to her revealed she felt deeply humiliated by Dolly's effortless dismantling of her points. It was like arguing with a steel magnolia, one friend quoted her. Meanwhile, Dolly continued her promotional tour, appearing on late-night shows where hosts gingerly avoided the topic, but she addressed it head-on with humor. "I went on The View to talk about my book, not to start a revolution." Laughter ensued, solidifying her as the victor in public opinion. Social media polls overwhelmingly favored Dolly, with 80% agreeing she handled it gracefully. Joy's absence created a void. The next episode featured a subdued panel, with Whoopi acknowledging, "We're missing our Joy today, but the show must go on." Guest co-hosts filled in, but the chemistry was off, viewers noting the lack of Joy's edge. Rumors swirled of Joy negotiating a comeback with demands for more control over guest interactions. Dolly's sales spiked, her album climbed charts, and book orders surged, proving no publicity is bad publicity. Analysts pointed out how the incident exposed The View's format vulnerabilities, where unscripted moments can derail episodes. Joy, reflecting on her career, perhaps saw this as a wake-up call to temper her approach. Fan mail poured in for both women, some urging reconciliation. A viral petition called for a rematch episode, garnering thousands of signatures. Dolly expressed openness. "I'd love to hug it out with Joy." As weeks passed, Joy broke her silence in a podcast interview, admitting, "Dolly got under my skin, but she's a legend for a reason." The admission humanized her, earning sympathy. The event inspired parodies on SNL, with impressions nailing Dolly, drawl, and Joy's accent. Ultimately, it reinforced Dolly's image as an untouchable icon and prompted Joy to evolve. The View's ratings stabilized, but the memory lingered, a testament to the power of words in live TV. Discussions on civility in media emerged, with experts citing the argument as a case study. Dolly moved on to charity events, her foundation benefiting from the attention. Joy, rumored to be writing a memoir chapter on the incident, hinted at a return. The saga became folklore in entertainment circles, reminding all that even queens can clash.